Hello.
Yeah, are you hearing?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm seeing Pauline, I'm seeing Mr. Blau, I'm seeing Mr. Emmanuel. So we are waiting on the bank officer, is it?
Looks like it.
Hello? I think I'm seeing Emmanuel volume is off. You need to admit Pauline.
Emmanuel and Pauline are connecting.
Pauline, you are there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Emmanuel, I'm not seeing his microphone. So I'm not sure if he's
he's still trying to connect.
If he's struggling. And I'm not seeing Mr. Elvis, the bank officers yet.
Yeah. Let me try and text. Let me try.
Manuel, he can probably go back out, come back in to see if his
All right. I'm gonna mute myself.
because most of the effective meetings are generally short. So we have Irene. Irene is one of the lawyers for Interpetroleum. She has she's the one who sent the link, just in case we need any legal issues for her to take note of. Of course, Pauline is working very closely with a lot of the clients who have the contract in Ghana. In fact, I want to say to Mr. Blau, because he was very impressed with some of the preparations that was made with the documentation. Pauline is one of those who put it together. So she has a serious interest. So I see, okay. I think Emmanuel is in now. Emmanuel, can you say something? We know you are hearing. You just unmute. Emmanuel, just unmute. Okay, he may be talking, but anyway, let me continue. Just let me see now. Okay. Emmanuel. All right, so, and then we have Mr. Frederick Blau, who is actually the one that will guide us through any thorny issues, and of course, Mr. Elvis Asoma Moa, by way of just setting the tone. And especially, I'm glad, I hope he doesn't mind I say Elvis, it's easier as I see it here on my screen. We have an interest in Africa in particular, especially Western and Eastern, and Central. It has happened in South Africa that this unique type of funding, we want to win. And if Ghana utilizes this type of funding, which the Chinese, the Asians, nearly every other peoples of the world have used successfully, especially those in the West. So the interests of Mr. Blau, myself, Irene, even Pauline, is to make sure we have a win. So at the end of the day, we want to work as a team, one objective, that we provide the funding so that Ghana could get their housing, and then we provide now a template for which we can do more of this funding. So this is my absolute objective. Whatever hard questions, whatever hurdles to overcome, obstacles to surmount, we can do it together. They are expert. It's a big team, even though you see 6 of us. We have expertise in Europe, elsewhere, that we could call upon to guide, to inform, to educate through this process. So with this in mind now, I would like, I don't know if Emmanuel can hear, but probably Mr. Or if Pauline, you want to now just give a segue, and then I leave for Elvis.
Okay, Pauline here. That's a good introduction. We have a couple of projects in Ghana, and mainly housing projects that were awarded a couple of years ago. Now, the main challenge why these projects haven't taken off is funding. The Ghanaian government has been supportive enough to not only give the off-taker, but to give support in terms of, Elvis has left. I don't know why. Probably network issues. Ghana has a lot of internet network issues. Anyway, he's back. So
okay, good. Okay, fine.
There's pressure. There's pressure from the government for these contractors to start work as soon as possible. Therefore, the banks are also supporting this because they know they have the government's back to ensure that these companies get the funding they need so that they can start the projects. So the project we're dealing with currently belongs to Mr. Emmanuel. Emmanuel is unable to speak with us, but it is for 200,000 housing units, and the total amount is about 7 billion USD. So we want to see how we can raise money, and the banker here, Mr. Elvis, is here just to be guided on how exactly to do it in the best way that is possible, so that we are able to achieve a similar goal or the same goal. Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Elvis, you can ask. You have Mr. Blau is the one that, if you watch his picture, you'll realize he's not a 20-year-old. He has a lot of experience and he can speak for himself. So I will just let him just introduce himself, and then you shoot with questions. So Mr. Blau, you can just tell us a bit about you, and so that it helps us know you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Duncan. Gentlemen and ladies, thank you very much for this opportunity. As Dr. Rogers said, you know, I'm an African.
I'm seeing you unmuted, but I'm not. Oh, Irene, none of our microphones are. I don't know what is happening. Okay, I'm here. Mr. Blau, could you speak? Let me see if we are here.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, he's counting and we are not hearing. I don't know why.
Maybe volume?
Yeah, is your volume up, Mr. Blau?
Let me push that up. I tested it before we started.
Okay.
Is that better?
But I think I don't know. I'm seeing him.
Yeah,
so
yeah. But we can't hear.
He's connected, but we are not hearing him.
There's another one. Hang on. Okay. Is that?
Oh, we are hearing you now. We are hearing you now.
Okay. Sorry, guys. My system's got two microphones on the desktop here. My apologies. Let me start again. In agreement with Dr. Duncan's opening statements, we would like to see far more projects being completed in Africa in general. And I've been to Ghana, Elvis, and Pauline, and just to mention just one area, apart from my wonderful trip from Accra to Tokoradi and up into the gold mines. But if one drives on your freeway from Accra, from the city center to the airport, you pass a very large industrial park that sits towards the sea on your right hand side as you drive to the airport. And in my estimate then, about a third of the buildings were incomplete, warehouses, factories. Why? The fact that an economic downturn happened damaged an awful lot of people during that time. So you've not only got damaged and hurt financially the people who built those factories and buildings that are now just shells half empty, but I'm sure that the banks have suffered as well, because what you've got left there is a not really a usable asset. I've been in this game for a long time. I worked for two of the larger corporations in Africa, and predominantly in the mining game, Anglo American Corporation. I was a general manager of De Beers, and then went into seeking funding options initially for mines, and then in general, because the model that I now work with, it doesn't really matter whether it's a baked bean tin factory or a forestry or a housing project or whatever. Our support, and we are doing a number of projects revolving around housing. All across the world, not just in Africa, there's a housing shortage. People who live in a house tend to be stable citizens. People who live in shacks, in the informal squatter camps, are not that stable politically and socially. So from a government's macro point of view, to build housing is a huge priority. Ghana has got 2.2, 2.3 million housing units backlog. It's going to take more than 10 years to fill those, because by the time we've done these projects, the population would have grown, no doubt. So the model that has been evolved and that I'm now linked with in Switzerland looks at a risk-free system, both for Emmanuel and his contractors, and also for us. The particular banking funding setup, we raise the funds, but it's done in such a way that there's no end risk for us. So we don't sit in a situation where, heaven forbid, Emmanuel having built houses, the government, even though there's an offtake agreement, there's a downturn in the economy and they're unable to do what they set out to do, as good as those intentions are. What we need from each client through a bank, a top bank, is what, let's refer it to as a seed instrument, and it has to come from an acceptable top bank, preferably with a correspondent confirmation in the EU or the UK, which is safe. We never ever draw down on that instrument, Elvis. The standby letter of credit is returned 15 days or so before maturity, and then we reissue the identical instrument, the same instrument again for the next year until the whole project's been completed, in this case estimating 10 years. So, and then I'll pay for that reissue after the first one. So the second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, and so on, reissues, that cost I'll pay for. So you put up the instrument, it has to be on exactly the verbiage as is in Emmanuel's contract with Dr. Duncan. And it goes to this company, MBBE Finance and Triant, which is a Swiss company. They do the financing as we just described, specializing in project financing. We use, and people ask this, why do we use the sister company in Lithuania? The reason for that is these documents of ours sometimes fall into hands that they perhaps shouldn't, and we get SWIFTs coming into our system, which are either just incorrect, fraudulent, silly. So we use Lithuania as a filter process. In addition, Ghana, in fact the whole of South Africa, the whole of Africa, no bank instrument can go directly into a Swiss bank. They won't accept it. So we use the Lithuanian structure as a stepping stone, because Lithuania will accept it. And then from Lithuania into Switzerland, they'll accept it. So, and it's a two-stage filter process. It's a financial one, stepping stone, but also filtering SWIFTs that we haven't prepared for, don't have the documentation, compliance hasn't been done, we don't know who these people are, and so on. So that's why you'll see on the documentation on the contract with Emmanuel is going to this company, MBB Finance and Triant in AG. Just to perhaps explain it, if your German isn't that good, Triant means trust in German, so it's a finance and a trust company. The Swiss regulatory system watches what this company does with a very fine-tooth comb. It has a special license to do what they do, and the key reason why we're allowed to do it is there's got to be a project for this funding. So I take the documentation from Emmanuel, and I see Elvis has left, but Emmanuel, and we can brief him later perhaps. And that I register the project with the authorities in Switzerland, the Fed, the European Central Bank. There's got to be this rationale, this reason why we're doing it, and all of the money must go to the project. Okay, we can't let it go elsewhere or whatever, to El Shabib or some other silly people. And so the whole process is risk-free on our side. Our banks double insure everything. We obviously trust Emmanuel that he'll do what he set out to do. Dr. Duncan's system will watch that. There'll be an audit process that'll be in play once the funding starts. And that really is what this whole process is all about. It's not widely known, and the reason for that goes back maybe 18, 20 years to a certain president of the United States who wanted to be the only ones that would be able to enter into the system. But it is used widely. I've been involved in it, and I worked for the Federal Reserve Bank of New York initially, learning the system for the key trader there, and then left. The Americans are funny people, so I left and I started looking for for people who are more allied to us Africans, looking at being able to help us. We've done some projects for governments here in South Africa. I'm busy with a very large one right next door to you, Pauline. Okay. The paperwork is busy being prepared by the minister. So it's an exciting process. The nice thing about it is I understand projects. I've done lots of them. I've built more than 200,000 houses as a project manager for Anglo American. The last thing a contractor wants to have to do is to worry about the money. And if, for example, and it's going to happen, Emmanuel, I'm telling you now, it's going to happen. There will be a change in the scope. Something will happen which will cost you slightly more. There will be another rainstorm. Okay? And you'll have some damages or whatever. All you got to do is communicate that to us. That my task is to adjust the monthly payments that'll be coming in. Our purpose is to fund your project 100%. And there'll be changes. You might one year be able to build 22,000 houses. Well, just communicate with us all the time. Do your forecasting. Just keep it running with Dr. Duncan's office. He then passes on to me, and we'll make sure that before you commit to anything, the money's in your bank account. Okay, and that, gentlemen, is really, in the short time we've got available, that's all I can say. Any questions from Elvis, specifically you?
Hello, sir.
Hi there, Elvis.
He's muted. Elvis, you are muted.
Can I go ahead with my question?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Do. Yes, sir.
Okay, so the SWIFT message, has it been sent to the bank already? Because the document Emmanuel sent me, I didn't see that in it.
I don't understand your question. You've got
The MT
you
the
started,
MT 799, the SWIFT message.
yes. So you must send that as per what's given on that on the page, Appendix B of the contract with Emmanuel. So you start the process with a pre-advice. Okay. So you send the MT 799. I see Duncan has filled in some of the parts. You can do the rest of it. It's easy.
I didn't get. He said appendix what? I didn't get that.
Appendix B on the contract.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
it's on page 9, and then page 10 and 11.
Okay, so okay, so because
Can you repeat that?
he says he wants a bank guarantee.
Mhm.
So, how much is the bank expected to give him? As in, to start, how much would be enough?
sorry, I don't understand. Look, we're not calling for a bank guarantee. We're calling for a standby letter of credit. Okay, issued via MT 760.
But because when okay, so it's not a bank guarantee because that's what he said he wanted.
No, it's a standby letter of credit. So Emmanuel, you must give Elvis pages
Okay, so
9, 10, and 11, and 12.
Then I don't think I have the document because I don't have that document. The document he sent me, what I have is I think it's pictures of the plan for the project.
No, okay. We're not talking the funding banking. You're a bank. Okay. So Emmanuel needs to send you Appendix B of the contract that he has with Dr. Duncan. The verbiage on there, Elvis, is got to be exact. It's not what I want. It's what our banks want. So they dictate the verbiage.
Okay,
of this. Okay. It's pretty standard. You'll go through it. It's pretty standard stuff. It's got the bank account it goes to, the bank in Lithuania, the SWIFT code, the IBAN, and the bank officer himself. Okay, who handles this for our side on that side. So you'll send the pre-advice. Okay. There's some work on our side when the pre-advice comes. It's the normal banking compliance stuff. Who it's coming from? Is it okay? Have I checked out Dr. Duncan? Have I checked out Emmanuel? Just from the normal anti-money laundering legislation requirements. And then the office in Switzerland talks to their banks as to where we're going to run this funding from. They're talking to them all the time now. We deal with all the major banks. So it could be, for example, in the response, you'll get a response back from Lithuania that says, yes, we're ready to receive it and send it either to them again, that's now the MT 760, or send it to UBS, or send it to Credit Suisse in Zurich. Okay, because now we're having filtered everything through. We've met all the compliance issues, and then the instruments go through. Why two instruments? We found that instruments with a face value of more than 250 attract unwanted attention. Okay, so there's additional compliance stuff that is not necessary. So all we do is we send two 250s to make up the 500. Okay, one after the other.
Okay.
15-minute intervals, and they go. As long as
I just want to.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to interject for Elvis because I know this Zoom may it may be up soon, Irene. I think Elvis, after this meeting, what I want to happen is that you will have Mr. Blau's contact directly, because I suspect also you can use Mr. Blau as a very serious resource to really even help you in different ways. I don't want to suggest Korea yet, because when you score this one, you will certainly be the head of the bank very soon. But I will do that coming off of this meeting. So there can be, you can have him on WhatsApp, you can ask all the questions, etc., 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 in order to shorten the line. I just wanted to interject that. Go ahead.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, that's super. Yeah. And I think, Dr. Duncan, if you can, through Emmanuel, send Elvis a neat, clean copy of Appendix B, which has got the SWIFT verbiage requirements and the destination points.
Yes, no problem. So Elvis, coming out of this, because I don't know if I will set it, or having done the introduction, we allow Emmanuel to get you the proper documents, and then now we continue the discussion quickly, because the contractors have a window for which to execute for the government. And so from today, from this meeting now, myself, I'll be talking with Emmanuel and Pauline, but I want you to talk to Blau, Mr. Blau.
Good. Yes.
Okay.
So we have all the Switzerland, we have all the foreign.
So maybe he can, I don't know.
Go ahead.
His number, maybe.
Yeah, I will
because
get
Emmanuel has my number, so.
I will get it to you, and you will give us your email, so there is direct contact, so we can really expedite this funding to score for Ghana. As I said in my opening, we need to win for Ghana's sake.
Okay.
So Irene, how much time again? I know it said 10 minutes more 10 minutes ago.
We only have 3 minutes.
Okay, I don't want to seem to cut into things, but I also want to be efficient. So I think if Mr. Blow, you agree, we work with Emmanuel a bit, let him get the proper documents before in front of Elvis, and then Elvis asks you the questions via WhatsApp, via email. Is that okay?
That's good. Good. Yeah.
Okay. Pauline, are you okay?
Perfect. I mean,
okay,
excellent.
good. Okay, great. So in summary, I really want to thank you all in the 1 minute we have again, and I will push to make sure this happens. And Elvis, I don't know if you're aware that Trinidad and Tobago, my country, we now have a lot of expatriate things going on with you. We can come there without visa. In fact, we are building a village. So we really want Ghana, even for selfish reasons, for the Caribbean to succeed. And I think you do not have a better partner to work with than that man, Mr. Blau. I'm telling you, stick with him and we will succeed. I assure you that. So I want to thank you all very much, and may God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Have
Thank
a nice
you.
day.
All right.
Be safe.